Welcome to the Reindl Report, a podcast out of San Diego, California that rewrites the definition of mediocrity.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Now I'm insulted.
So join along for the ride as Paul Reindl takes you through the world of sports with insight, interviews, and incredibly bad jokes.
It just seems like the people that are so butthurt about it.
Did you throw a butthurt out there?
Yeah, I said butthurt.
2005 calls. They want their turn back.
Yeah, walked right into that one.
Now, here's your host, Paul Reindl.
All right, and welcome to another edition of the Reindl Report. I'm Paul Reindl, your host of the Reindl Report. Funny how that works with the name, my last name. See what I'm doing there? Trying something extremely different tonight. Something that I have no experience in whatsoever. So Facebook has this live stream that you can do, right? So I've set up my phone, charged it in, so hopefully it doesn't die. And I'm looking at a camera, and I'm assuming that you'll be able to view this video, and I will attach the audio. If you can't, I have no idea. I don't know how this works. I don't know if the people that are watching this, looks like we got 2 viewers right now. So what up, fam? I don't know if you guys can even hear me, but what I'm going to do is I will save this video, and then I will attach the audio, and it's going to go up to my website. I might even add, so you can see it right here on the video, like a little cool word to say, thereindlreport.blogspot.com. That's where you can go and you can get all these podcasts that I do. But I don't know. I thought it'd be fun to give this a shot and see how it works. So I'm here this is Wednesday, March 30th, being recorded at 9:30 at night. So hopefully this works, and if I get any positive feedback, any feedback at all, quite frankly, I'll decide if I want to do this again. But I'm excited about this one. It's been a couple of weeks since my last podcast. There's a lot going on that I want to talk about. So we're just going to dive right into it. I want to start with the NBA. In particular, there was some absolute insanity that was revealed earlier today. So the Lakers, it's a circus up in LA right now. I can't think of a better way to describe it. This team, they are the elite franchise, right? One of, Boston and Los Angeles. They're maybe the Knicks historically, but the Lakers are one of the absolute staples of the NBA. And this team has just been completely run into the ground. Now, it's been going on for a few years now. You've been able to see it as, after Pau Gasol left, this team, they just have gone down quickly. But, and all of this happens, I'm going to get into the story. This comes 2 days after the Lakers just got steamrolled by the Utah Jazz on Monday night, 123-75. The Lakers lost, almost 50 points, 48-point loss to the Jazz. And it comes out that Nick Young, Swaggy P, so you already know where this story's going with a guy like Swaggy P, but Swaggy P, he was ratted out by one of his teammates. One of his teammates broke bro code, if you will. D'Angelo Russell, the Lakers' second overall pick in the first round last year, point guard for the team, supposed to be their future. He ratted out his boy Nick Young. Now, I don't know exactly when this video was released, or I know when it was released. I don't know when it was taken. I believe I saw that it was sometime last year. So Nick Young, he's engaged to pop star rap artist. I don't exactly know how you would categorize her music, but Iggy Azalea, don't even know how to say her last name. Iggy Azalea. So he's engaged to her, and this video comes out this morning, of D'Angelo Russell, right? They're in a hotel room, and D'Angelo Russell is asking Nick Young questions about women, questions about other women, not Iggy Azalea. And he's videotaping this whole thing. Now, Nick Young is laying down on his bed. He's on his computer or something. He's probably not talking to any women or anything like that. But D'Angelo Russell is filming this whole time, and he's kind of hiding the phone, keeping it secretive. And he's asking, about this 19-year-old girl that Nick Young has been talking to. Asking about other celebrities, if Nick Young has tried to hook up with them. And this video leaks out. And Nick Young is obviously upset. Iggy Azalea is obviously upset. I believe last I saw, they have not gotten back together. She dropped Nick Young like a bad habit, old Swaggy P. So that leads to obvious rifts between Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell in the Lakers locker room. I saw a tweet from, I think it was Nick Medina from the LA Daily News, tweeted out, he's the beat reporter for the Lakers, and he writes that, he tweets out at like noon today that D'Angelo Russell was escorted out of the Lakers practice facility with surrounded with bodyguards or security guards. Go figure. He's afraid he's going to get his ass beat by Nick Young. That's what's happening. I don't know if they were his security guards, if they were the Lakers security guards. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting what I saw. Now, D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young, they were both active for tonight's game. I don't know if Nick Young ever got in. Suppose I could look that up right now on the computer. But D'Angelo Russell was playing because I was watching that game. And so he issued the apology. He did issue an apology towards Nick Young, and it was reported that Nick Young had accepted it. But at about 6 o'clock, now this is a 7:30 tip-off for the Lakers in LA tonight. And so Nick Young has not entered tonight's game. He says he's there, but he has not entered the game. So at 6 o'clock, an hour and a half before tip-off of this game against the Miami Heat, which the Lakers are currently winning 84-81 with 2.5 to go in the fourth, tweets out, "I accepted what?" or something like that. Everybody's saying he's accepted this apology, and he goes, "No, I haven't. What are you talking about?" Now, that tweet was instantly deleted by, I'm assuming, his PR agent. Somebody telling him, might want to lay low on this one. So he deleted that tweet, but all signs are pointing to, no, they have not cleared this out. D'Angelo Russell made a statement. He is going to work his tail off, quote, to earn back the trust and respect of anybody that he might have lost it from, Nick Young and Swaggy P. And so that's where the Lakers are at right now. Again, this is 2 days after a 48-point ass kicking from the Jazz. And this team, they're 15-59. And they're only up 1 on Miami. That might be 15-60. One of the worst regular seasons in NBA history, being held by none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lake Show. Kobe Bryant, it's just 2 points. He's played 9 minutes tonight. Farewell tour is well underway. It has been for a while now. It's almost like they're just letting him in just to give the fans an opportunity to say, oh, yeah, I saw Kobe that night. He's not doing anything. This team is just going nowhere fast. They've got their future, their star point guard, their number 2 overall first-round pick, ratting out his teammates. Now, look, here's where we got to talk about that. So nobody's going to deny that Nick Young is in the wrong, right? Swaggy P is wrong. Shouldn't be cheating on your girl. I think that goes pretty universally known. But I think there's also something to be said for respect of privacy. Now, again, I just want to make it very clear that I am not supporting Nick Young. I am not endorsing Swaggy P. Although I do think that would be a pretty badass nickname for myself, but I digress. I'm not supporting him, okay? I think it is wrong. But when it comes to something like that morally, like, who am I to tell him what to do? You know what? Do your thing, I guess. But there's something to be said for being with your teammate, being with your boy, being with a colleague, a coworker, and you're in your hotel room, and he's the one asking you questions about what's going on in your personal life, and you're answering them. You're not expecting this video to be going out. There has to be something said for that. I heard somebody on a national talk show today, they brought up a great point. Donald Sterling. Anybody remember him? He was the Los Angeles Clippers owner before Steve Ballmer took over recently. He is a confirmed bigot and a confirmed racist. He has said horrible things. He was forced to sell his Los Angeles Clippers, his beloved Clippers. See, we just got a couple more views on the live Facebook stream, so shouts. Donald Sterling was forced to sell his team based on racist remarks that he said in his own home. Now, like Nick Young, I am not whatsoever endorsing Donald Sterling or Swaggy P. Not at all. What they have said, what they have done is wrong. But man, if you can't say something in the privacy of your own home, and now that affects your work life, I don't know how I feel about that either. I don't believe that Donald Sterling should have been forced to sell the Los Angeles Clippers based on what he said in the privacy of his own home. Somebody was having a recorder, he got caught. There's a public outcry for him to sell that team. I don't support that. I'm glad he doesn't own the Clippers anymore, sure. Steve Ballmer's great. I think he's great for the NBA. It's hilarious watching him and his ridiculous antics on the court side there. But I don't believe that based on what happened that Donald Sterling should have had to sell his franchise. Now, Nick Young got caught, okay? Whatever happens with him and Iggy, can't blame her, right? Not at all. But I think D'Angelo Russell is more in the wrong here than a cheating Swaggy P. And the Lakers need to be concerned about D'Angelo Russell a hell of a lot more than Nick Swaggy Young P. Whatever, Swaggy P Young. I gotta stop just using that stupid nickname. Okay, D'Angelo Russell is their number 2 draft pick. D'Angelo Russell is going to be their future point guard. If they ever want to get out of last place in the NBA, they're gonna be leaning on him heavily. Nick Young averages like 6 points a game. He's trash. They don't need to worry about that. That guy's going to have a better career on MTV in a couple of years than he ever would in the NBA. You heard it here first, right here on the Reindl Report. But they got a problem with D'Angelo Russell. Do you think anybody in that locker room now trusts their point guard? Do you? Honest question. Do you think anybody on the Lakers right now trusts D'Angelo Russell? I have to think that the answer is no. And I don't see that translating very well onto the court when none of these guys they can't trust their point guard. He's out there ratting guys out. Now, this video got leaked, supposedly. Emphasize on the quotations because he was taking that video for a reason, okay? I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's a history of beef between Russell and Nick Young, but he was taking that video intentionally, and it just happened to get leaked. Bummer. Too bad. So that's where the Lakers are at. In real time, like I said, this is Wednesday night, 9:45 now when we're starting this Reindl Report. Lakers are down 2 with 30 seconds to go, looking at a 60th loss on the season to the Miami Heat. But I want to move on. I want to talk about the Warriors, the rest of the NBA. The exact polar opposite of the Lakers would be the Golden State Warriors, just up the state. Golden State, they met one of their more recent difficult battles in the Utah Jazz. This game went into overtime. Steph Curry, Golden State, they got the job done. They won 103-96 over the Jazz. That puts them at 68-7 overall in the season. Golden State's got 7 games remaining. Now, 2 of those games are against San Antonio. That game is going to be one of the most highly anticipated games in NBA history. I have got to imagine that. NBA regular season history. I should clarify, NBA regular season history. That game is going to be insane between the Spurs and the Clippers. Now there's 2 remaining, 1 at home, 1 on the road. San Antonio, they're 5 games back from Golden State. Golden State has to go 5-2 to beat the Bulls. The Chicago Bulls, 1995-96 season, I believe, when they went 72-10, best season to date in the NBA. They're at 68-7. They've got to go 5-2 in their final 7 to break that record. See, we're blowing up right now on the Facebook stream, which is kind of cool. Again, I have no idea if you guys can hear me, but we're trying this out. So the first matchup is going to be Thursday, April 7th. That's in Golden State at the Oracle Arena. And then Sunday, April 10th, that's the big showdown at San Antonio. Both teams are perfect at home. San Antonio has also not lost at home. So I got to imagine that game might be the one where the Golden State's looking to break this record. And if that's the case, if they're sitting at 72-8, I believe it'd be 72-8, and that showdown against San Antonio, it's going to be one of the all-time great regular season, at least, NBA games. And it's going to be better than most of the playoff games we see, because I don't know if there's any disagreement here that it's probably looking like a rematch between Cleveland and Golden State. Maybe San Antonio, who's sitting at 53-12, 5 games back, they have a shot at putting up a fight against the Warriors. I don't think the Clippers got a chance. I don't think Oklahoma City has a chance. I'll give San Antonio some credit there. Western Conference Finals, guaranteed the Western Conference Finals will be better than the NBA Finals. That's a fact. So, pretty exciting right now in the NBA. Look, the Spurs, they're sitting at 53-12. It's unlikely that they, 63-12. Why did I say 53? Unlikely that they get to 70 wins, possible that they get to 70 wins, which would put a potential Western Conference Finals, historic Western Conference Finals between 2 teams that have 70 total wins at least. That would be ridiculous. They should, if Adam Silver knew what was good for him, man, he would just they would crown that team the NBA champion. Just make that the NBA Finals. What has it been, 5 years now? 5 years in a row with LeBron. Everyone's over that, right? Kawhi and the Spurs taking on Steph Curry and the Warriors. That is something that I am looking forward to watching. I want to move along here. We're going to keep this relatively short podcast. We're almost up to 20 minutes right now. Want to kind of reset, let everybody know what's going on. So I do this podcast every couple weeks, the Reindl Report, and you can go to the reindlreport.blogspot.com and get all of them right there. But trying this new thing out with the Facebook stream. So I got my phone set up right here, right in front of me, right in front of the mic, and it's, as far as I know, we're streaming live on Facebook. And so I don't know how it works, but I think you can just click the video and join in wherever we're at. And then I believe it saves the entire video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the higher quality sound to that video, put it up on the website, and we'll be good to go from there. But I want to move to some Chargers talk here. Big day today in San Diego, and that's where I work. That's where I live. So that's why we're going to talk about it. So the Chargers, they released their Citizens Initiative proposal for a brand new stadium downtown San Diego. See, I got it right here. That's an email from the Chargers. Shameless plug to make myself look cool. So they are hoping to have 66,000 signatures on this ballot. Well, on the initiative, on the proposal, by mid-June. That puts it on the ballot in November. I'm not going to get into this too much because there's too much for me to even know. It's well beyond me. The experts, the people that that is what they do, is follow this stadium story. They're confused at what's going on. So I'm just going to keep it relatively brief. But the Chargers, their plan is to hike up tax dollars on it's called the transient occupancy tax, the TOT. That is a tax that is set in like hotels for the tourists, the people that come to visit San Diego. They will be paying an increased tax rate of 16.5%. That is what is going to be used to primarily help fund this new stadium. Now the Chargers, they're going to be kicking in $650 million. Believe the stadium is estimated at costing $1.5 billion. And the Chargers, they're going to kick in $650 million, and they're hoping to make up most of the rest of that with this transient occupancy tax, the TOT. So basically all they want to do is they're going to hike up, they're going to tax tourists, people that we don't really care about them, right? Now, I'm confused at why all the taxpayers are getting so pissed off about this. There will be a small tax increase, but the majority of the tax increase is going against the tourists, the people that were like, yes, come to San Diego, give us your money. 16.5% on the hotels and all the businesses in San Diego, all these tourist activities, 16% of that, 16.5%, going to the Chargers and to build this new stadium, going towards the city to build this new stadium downtown. They have not released any images, any designs yet of the stadium. Hopefully they want to combine it with a new convention center where they host Comic-Con and a bunch of other major events throughout the year. They want to have everything going on down there, right next to Petco Park, right next to the gas lamps, right there on the water. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. I'm glad the Chargers picked downtown over Mission Valley. Now, they haven't decided yet on what they want to do with the convention center. Right now, it stands on its own. They want to combine it. I believe the Chargers' word is a convadium, a convention center and a stadium. They want to put the stadium, the convention center, underneath the field at the new Charger Stadium downtown, underneath the field. I don't know how that's going to work, and I don't think they do either, because if you live in San Diego and you know that area, the bus depot that I'm talking about downtown, this stadium is going to be built on what is man-made land right near the water. I think if they dig any significant amount down into the dirt, they're just going to run into water. So I'm not exactly sure how they're going to plan on putting a convention center there, but it sounds cool. It really does. So the Chargers, they need 66,000 signatures by mid-June to make it on the November ballot, the same day that we vote for the president. All of that voting, it's going to be done in November. That's when San Diego city voters, not county voters, that is important. Not county voters, but city voters can vote on this in November. This will be on the ballot. They need 66,000 signatures. They're hoping to get that done, start getting that done next week. And they're aiming for 100,000 signatures in San Diego of people that will support the Chargers building a new stadium downtown. Now, something that I think is fairly relevant to me being, San Diego State bleeding black and red, what does this mean for the Aztecs? Well, they're not really sure yet. That's the answer. San Diego State could use the new stadium like they currently are with the Chargers. They're sharing Qualcomm Stadium. But this is relatively new. There's a lot of talk about San Diego State getting their own stadium to play their own football games in. A stadium closer to campus. Well, spoiler alert, it'll be at Qualcomm, right in Mission Valley where the current stadium is at. But it will not be downtown. Now, this is not set in stone, but there are a lot of people talking about this. They would love to have San Diego State having their own smaller stadium. That is a knock against San Diego that has been going on for a long time. They can't get enough fans to fill a 60,000 seat stadium. Who can blame them? Only the SEC can do that. Maybe some Pac-12 teams. San Diego State, they had 18,000 people at the Mountain West Conference Championship game that they hosted this year. So they're struggling to get people in there. 20,000 people in a 40,000 seat stadium, still half empty. 20,000 people in a 35,000 seat stadium looks a hell of a lot better than 20,000 people, at most 20,000 people in a 60,000 seat stadium where they got to close off the upper bowl and you can just free range, find a seat wherever you like. Now, they're also hoping to bring an MLS team to San Diego. They're hoping that this new smaller stadium for San Diego State would attract an MLS team. That has been something that's been going on for a long time. There's a high demand for Major League Soccer to make the move to San Diego, whether it's an expansion team or a team being moved. I believe it will be an expansion team. So this would be at Qualcomm at the current site in Mission Valley. Now, San Diego State would get the land. They could build classrooms. It could be an extended part of campus. Some dorms even. It'd be like a little student village. There'd be restaurants and shops and all of that stuff down there. They want to make a riverfront park down at the San Diego River right there. Sounds pretty awesome. So you'd have two brand new stadiums in San Diego, one for the Aztecs, hopefully an MLS team, and then the Chargers hosting all these Super Bowls. And, well, they won't host. That's one thing that I think needs to be corrected. Everybody in San Diego seems to think, we're going to get 10 Super Bowls if we get this new team. We're going to make that money up like this. You're probably going to get like 2, maybe 3 Super Bowls. It's going to be, a 30-year lease, 30 years. In 30 years, that's when they'll say, okay, time for a new stadium. This isn't working it. So we gotta, come on. 30 years, they're going to want a new stadium, I promise. So in 30 years, you figure the stadium rotation, it's about 10 years for a Super Bowl. So every 10 years, San Diego will host a Super Bowl. They'll host one right off the bat. And then probably going to have to wait another 10 years. So they'll get 3 Super Bowls after that. And look, it's going to be awesome. Having a Super Bowl in San Diego, I have heard nobody say that they would not want to cover a San Diego Super Bowl. Everybody loves coming down to San Diego. Everybody loves the Super Bowl. Make it happen. So I think it's really interesting what's going to happen here in the next few weeks, few months, and hopefully few years of building this new stadium downtown for the Chargers, seeing how it affects San Diego State. But a lot of big news today happening with the Chargers. So I want to wrap it up here relatively quick because I don't know when my next podcast is going to be, but we're going to switch gears over to baseball. Baseball opening day. It's today Wednesday. Wednesday the 30th. We're just 5 days away from opening day. Now, I don't really want to get too much into the Padres right here because I don't see them having that great of a season. I don't know if it can get worse than last year, but I'm not prepared to say that it can get better. But because I don't see myself doing another recording between now and opening day, I got to put them on record, right? I got to make my picks for each division, my World Series picks, so that when I'm mostly right, I can come back in October and I can brag to all of you that do not care. See, this is kind of blowing up here on the Facebook stream. It's kind of cool. Listen, I got to turn my head. Somebody says, I love you, Paul. Appreciate it, fam. So I want to just start. We're just going to blow through this, and then we'll wrap it up. I just got off work. I'm tired. I want to go home. But thank you for sticking with me. So in the Major League Baseball, opening day, 5 days away. It's the best time of the year for me. This season that we're in right now is by far my favorite time of the year. You got the Final Four on Saturday. March Madness has been going for a couple of weeks. You got the Major League Baseball starting up. Spring training's been going all month. MLB opening day. You got the Masters. I love watching the Masters. And I know I'm in the minority there. I'm weird, and I like watching golf on television. You got the NBA heating up. I just think this is the absolute best time. You got the NFL draft. Look, the NFL calendar it never ends. The Super Bowl was 2 months ago. And everybody's still glued to their TVs, glued to their phones, seeing who's going to draft who, where the free agent's going. The NFL's got the monopoly on that one. So it's just a good time to be a sports fan. So opening day starting up. I want to blast through this here. Starting the American League. In the East, I got to go with the Blue Jays. Look, they were close last year. They've got a phenomenal team. They can hit the long ball. They've got quality pitching. I like the Blue Jays in the East. In the Central, I don't know if this is going to be a surprise to anybody. I don't know who's not picking the Royals, but this team is this team has really figured it out. They've gone to 2 straight World Series. They're the defending World Series champions, and they've just got a core of young talent. Now, they lost Johnny Cueto to the Giants, but they have got a core of talent that is homegrown. These are guys that they drafted and that they have brought up through their own system, and it's starting to pay off now. So I like the Royals in the Central. In the West, I like the Rangers. I think they're going to have a bounce-back season. I think a lot of players on that team are going to step up. I don't think the West is going to be very competitive this year, but that's just me. I think the Rangers are going to win it pretty handedly. Now, in my 2 wild cards, after just giving the Rangers the nod there, I'm going to go with the Astros getting the wild card 1. I really like the Houston Astros. I'm big on the Astros. They got Dallas Keuchel, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Altuve, Carlos Correa. They've got, similar to Kansas City, this is a team that used their draft picks and they have molded their own team, homegrown, through their system, guys that they have brought in to intentionally fit the style of baseball that they want played in Houston. And it's paying off. They had a quality year last year. I think they're going to step it up. I think they have a shot at making a little run in the playoffs. I got the Houston Astros in the first wild card spot, and then I'm going to go with the Yankees. I don't know what Alex Rodriguez is going to do this year, but he actually had a pretty damn good season last year at 39 years old. 39, he was crushing the ball. Now, nobody likes A-Rod. I don't like A-Rod. He's a liar. He's a cheater, whatever. He was almost borderline a feel-good story last year because you're just like, wow. How is this happening? You know he wasn't on the juice last year. The Yankees got better in the pitching department. They might have one of the best bullpens ever going into this season. We'll see how it translates. 6 months, it's a long time. A lot can happen between now and the end of September, but I do like the Yankees. I'm going to go with the Royals, though, representing the American League in the World Series. 3 straight, 3-peat, book it right here, March 30th on the Reindl Report. Going with Kansas City. And so in the National League, I like the Mets in the East. I don't know if I like anybody else in the East. I think the Nationals have a shot. We'll see how Steven Strasburg handles, bouncing back. He's been struggling lately. Hasn't had much success really in the MLB. And I love Steven Strasburg. He went to San Diego State. I'm a big fan. I'm pulling for him. But man, after that exciting start to his rookie season, we just haven't. He's been hurt a lot. Tommy John surgery. We just haven't. We'll see if he bounces back. And they've got, in my opinion, the most exciting player in the game, in Bryce Harper. I think he's the best player in the game, and I think he's the most exciting player in the game. Now I know guys like, Mike Trout. He's going to get a lot of support there, and for best player in Major League Baseball, I'm more of a Bryce Harper guy. And that's not a knock on Trout. I just happen to be more of a Bryce Harper guy. In the Central, I like the Cubs. I think they're going to have a very surprising season. Well, I'm not going to say surprising because I think everybody recognizes they have a ton of talent, especially led by a guy named Chris Bryant. Went to USD. Shout out to San Diego. But Chris Bryant is going to be a phenom in Major League Baseball. So I like what the Cubs have got going. I like their pitching staff. In the West, I got to go with the Giants. It's almost like a default. Guys, it's an even year. It's the Giants. You know what happens in an even year? They win the World Series. Every other year, this team wins the World Series. They don't just get there, they win it. Those poor Giants fans, they can only win the World Series every other year. Darn, must really suck for them. I like the Giants in the West, and I kind of like them in a landslide. They brought in Johnny Cueto to a pitching staff that's already been very productive over the last few years. And if guys like Hunter Pence and Brandon Belt can stay healthy, I think they got a really good shot at making a run once again in this even year. In the wild card, like the Cardinals, it's kind of hard not to pick the Cardinals. You got to pick them every year because the Cardinals are probably the most consistent team that I can ever think of in baseball. They're always playing quality baseball. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals in the wild card. And then I like the Diamondbacks. I was leaning towards the Dodgers, but they lost Zach Greinke. He went to the Diamondbacks, their division rival. So I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks. Paul Goldschmidt, he's going to be an MVP candidate once again at first base. I like what they got going. I think that I don't know if they're going to have enough. I don't even think they'll win the first wild card game, but I do like what they got the motions, the pieces in motion, okay? They've got everything kind of starting to come together. Somebody's typing to me on this Facebook thing. Sorry, my camera, it's twisted. So if you're watching this still, I can't read what you're saying right now. I'll hit you up later. I do appreciate the feedback. This is pretty cool. I'm going to have to start doing this, I think. So wrapping it up here in the National League, I got the Cubs going into the World Series against the Royals. Will the Cubs finally do it? It's been, 108 years since they won the World Series? The answer is no, the Cubs will not win the World Series. This one is going to go back to the Royals, back-to-back World Series champions. That is my way too early, way too ridiculous, insane prediction for Major League Baseball. So I'm going to wrap things up here. What are we at? About 35 minutes now. So I hope that this was relatively entertaining for people watching live. Again, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to save this video. I will attach the audio to it because I'm 35 minutes in. I have no idea if you guys can even hear me. I'm looking right at you. I have no idea if you can hear me right now. I'm assuming you can. I'm talking fairly loud, but I'm also trying to talk into this microphone and kind of aim it at the phone. So I don't know if it worked, but I promise that the finished version that I'm going to put up on the website will work. And you can go to the Reindl Report .blogspot.com. That's where all my podcasts, all my interviews, anything like that go. Again, at the end of the day, I'm just some jackass trying to have some fun, trying to improve my speaking game, my podcast game. So this was fun for me, and based on some of the feedback here I'm seeing on Facebook, it looks like it was pretty good for you guys too. So I do want to thank you guys. I'm going to save this. I'm going to get this up hopefully not too long from now, sometime tonight. I'll tweet out, Facebook, all that jazz. I'll put out the link, but I'm going to finish this up here, and thanks for joining me.